Hey there, and welcome. Today, we are going to get really practical about a topic that affects so many of us. And we're not just going to talk about depression. We're actually going to build a toolkit. Think of it as a set of real, actionable strategies you can use to start taking back your mental well-being. So let's get started by looking at what this internal struggle can really feel like.
Okay, take a look at this. On one side, you've got a mind that is just full of noise, chaos, and worry. And on the other, a mind that's calm, present, mindful. Which one of these feels a little more familiar to you right now? You know, this image really gets to the very heart of the struggle. And to start building that toolkit, we've got to first understand what exactly we're working with.
So first things first, if we're going to build a solid toolkit, we have to start with the right foundation. And that means understanding the problem for what it is. This isn't about just trying to cheer up or having more willpower. It's about seeing depression as what it is, a legitimate medical condition.
And this, right here, is absolutely crucial. Depression is not a character flaw. It's not laziness. And it's also different from the normal healthy process of grieving when you lose someone. Getting this definition right is the first step, because it takes away the stigma, and it opens the door for strategies that actually work.
So what does that mean in a clinical sense? Well, for a doctor to diagnose a major depressive episode, a person needs to have 5 or more specific symptoms, and they have to be present for at least 2 weeks. So you can see it's a very specific, measurable threshold.
And those symptoms, they cover a lot of ground. I mean, look at this list. We're talking mood, sleep, your energy levels, your ability to concentrate. It's a whole body experience. It can make even the simplest, smallest tasks feel absolutely monumental. And this leads us directly to the biggest challenge with depression.
Let's talk about the engine that keeps depression running. It's this self-feeding loop that psychologists call the inactivity trap. And honestly, if you're going to grasp one thing today, this is it. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? Depression completely drains our energy, so we stop doing things. But the less we do, the more we cut ourselves off from the very experiences that could lift our mood. You know, pleasure, connecting with people, feeling like we've accomplished something. It's a really powerful feedback loop. Let's break down exactly how it works.
So it all kicks off right here. That feeling of being down or flat or just empty. This is the state that triggers the whole cycle. And, you know, it makes perfect sense. When you feel that low, your motivation just hits rock bottom. The thought of going out, seeing friends, working on a hobby, it just feels like too much. So you pull back. You become less active. And here's the kicker. By being less active, you miss out on all the good stuff. The chat with a friend over coffee, that feeling of satisfaction when you finish a small task, the simple joy of a walk outside. All those little sources of positive reinforcement, they get cut off. And this is how the trap snaps shut. With no positive experiences coming in to balance things out, that low mood just sinks even lower. The depression gets reinforced, which makes you even less likely to be active tomorrow. And the whole cycle starts all over again.
So, how in the world do you break a cycle like that? Well, we can't just sit around and wait to feel better. It doesn't work that way. We have to act our way into feeling better. And this is where we get to start building our practical toolkit for activating our lives.
The main strategy here is something called behavioral activation. The principle is incredibly simple, but man, is it powerful. Action comes before motivation. You have to do the thing first, even when every fiber of your being is telling you not to. The motivation will follow the action, not the other way around. It's a total game changer. And to make this really practical and easy to remember, our toolkit is built around a simple little acronym, MY-PEERS. Just think of these as the 7 key areas you can focus on to start getting your life activated again.
So this toolkit is pretty comprehensive. M is for meaning, getting back in touch with what's important to you. Y is for your goals, so you can build a sense of achievement. P is for pleasant events, just to reintroduce some joy. E is for engagement, being in the moment. The second E is for exercise, which is a huge mood booster. R is for relationships, our support system. And S is for sleep, which is just foundational for everything. Now let's just dig into Y for a second, because how you set goals is absolutely critical.
Okay, setting goals is key, but setting the right kind of goal, well, that's everything. A workable goal has to be something you can actually control. It's got to be manageable. Think walk for 10 minutes, not run a marathon. It has to be realistic for where you are today. And it's measurable, so you know for sure when you've done it. This is how you start to build that positive momentum.
And please remember this. That feeling of being totally unmotivated when you start something, that's not a sign you're failing. It is a completely normal part of this process. The real goal is just to push through that initial resistance, because that little spark of accomplishment is waiting for you on the other side.
Now, beyond these foundational strategies that you can do yourself, it's also really encouraging to see how much the field of mental health is advancing. The toolkit is constantly getting bigger with some really amazing new technologies and approaches on the horizon.
For example, take transcranial magnetic stimulation, or TMS. It's this non-invasive therapy that uses magnetic fields to gently stimulate nerve cells in the brain that are linked to mood. Now, it used to be that a session took almost 40 minutes, but new protocols have cut that down to just 3 minutes. I mean, what a huge difference in making it more accessible for people.
And virtual reality? It's not just for video games anymore. VR-based therapy is letting people practice social skills or face challenging situations in a totally safe and controlled way. And get this, studies have shown it can reduce depressive symptoms by 50% in just 8 weeks. That's not a small change. That's cutting symptoms in half.
We're also seeing this growing appreciation for more holistic approaches, things like the powerful connection between our gut health and our brain, the real benefits of mindfulness and yoga, and even the healing impact of just spending time in nature. It all works together to support our overall well-being.
Okay, so we've defined the problem, we've looked at the trap it creates, we've built a toolkit to help break out of it, and we've even peeked at the future of treatment. So, let's bring it all home.
This right here is the most important takeaway. Looking at that whole My Peers toolkit can feel like a lot. It can be overwhelming, but you don't have to tackle all 7 things at once. You don't even have to tackle them this week. The goal isn't to do everything. It's to do something, anything, no matter how small it feels.
So I want to leave you with this question. What is one small, workable thing you can set as a goal for today? Could it be texting one friend? Could it be walking around the block one time? Or maybe just putting on one song that you used to enjoy? What is that one small thing you can do today to interrupt the cycle? Because that's your first step, and that's where everything begins.